Hey, seventh grade, welcome back. This is your pod lesson for the week. I haven't seen you for a couple weeks, so let's jump right to it, shall we? Just remember, future ready, hashtag future ready beavers are eager, invested learners. Eager to find a lesson in anything, okay? You always want to be learning. Education is the best way to better yourself and learn about the world around you. And you're invested in your future, I hope. Okay, making your own future better and brighter, the people around you's lives a little bit better, and the world around you. That starts with being a learner, okay, a lifelong learner, but that starts now. And even if there's a school lesson that may be a bit boring, you're just eager to pick up whatever you can to better your base of knowledge, yourself, your knowledge about the world, and that investment will definitely help you and pay off in the future, all right? So that's our future ready reminder for today. Also a reminder that we're coming up on midterms. Thursday, we don't have school Friday, but Thursday is the end of this first term, all right? So on Monday of next week, you will switch to your Flex 2 classes and any B electives that you have. Halfway through a trimester, good chance to reflect on your grades, see where you're at, and do what you can to improve. You've got lots of time, all right? Also wanted to give a shout out to your new student council, including President Chance Povey, Vice President Mason Hillier, Secretary Caitlin Morin, Girls Rep Esmeralda Cano, and Boys Rep Joaquin Morales. Looks like a good group. I haven't had a chance to meet with them quite yet, but I'm excited for their agenda, what they want to do to improve the school. I'm going to help them put that to work, their goals, their hopes for the school and your class. It's going to be really good. All those that ran, great job, and thanks to all those people who voted. So yeah, good job, student council. So back to your pod lesson for today. It's been a couple weeks since we had one of them, really. So this first unit is about your mindset and goals, all right? And 2 weeks ago, the last time we had a lesson, we talked about neural pathways. Neural pathways, right? A fancy way of saying kind of brain connections. We learned that brain science has taught us that your brain is not static. That you don't have just this base of knowledge that you're either smart or dumb, that trying new things and building new pathways in your brain is really easy when you're young because your brain's already kind of forming and has a lot of plasticity. But you can be a lifelong learner and keep making those connections forever. So hopefully that's pretty cool. And it hopefully reminds you to have a growth mindset, that nothing's impossible for you if you keep trying. Maybe difficult, but you're not for sure a bad student or a bad math student or a bad reader. You can still be making neural pathways, all right? So today we're talking about, again, learning, but learning from mistakes and failures. A huge, huge part of life. Really important lesson to pick up on. And people struggle with this sometimes, even into old age. So what do we want to talk about? Well, as a warm-up, put on your thinking face. So remember that implies that you either rub your chin like this, which is helpful if you've got whiskers, or you can go like this, or whatever you do when you make a thinking face. I want you to reflect on something that you've tried, so you know to make neural pathways, I have to try something new. Maybe it didn't go very well. Maybe it was an epic failure, okay? And it was just a fail, as they say on the YouTubes, all right? That's okay, but I just want you to reflect on that for a while. Tried something new, tried out for the play, had an audition, didn't make it. Maybe you tried out for a sports team and didn't make it, which is really tough. Okay, just keep that in the back of your mind. You know me, and I like to tell Schaefer Saga stories. I couldn't think of any recent mistakes, not that I don't make them. There's been plenty. But I just remember one of the new thing we've tried. My wife and I just this weekend wanted to get ready for something early in the morning that we're going to with our 3 kids. And we've taken the 3 kids out different places, but never like in the morning. And so I just think of that being new and difficult. And it was not a failure. We got there a little late, but there were some mistakes. So just think about your thing you've tried recently, all right? And we'll come back to it at the end of this. So a couple of little stories that I found in history that I thought would be a little interesting for you. I guess the second one's not really from history, it's just a scenario. But the first one's from the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. My stepfather's from this area, and he told me this story a long time ago. And you can see, I wish I had a video for you. This was in the early 30s, and they built this bridge, and everyone thought it was a pretty cool bridge, but it had a problem. You can kind of see from the video or the photo there that it would bow like this in the wind. And in this area in Washington, there's a lot of wind there. And the bridge would kind of move up and down and undulate and be all over the place. All right? How did that happen? Well, when they were first building the bridge, this was becoming a more populated area. They wanted to get a place from the Tacoma side over to the next part of the side of the sound there. And they had some options. All right? They had the very heavy, expensive option that was more reinforced, probably was a little uglier to be honest, and they could have built that version. There was one that maybe looked a little bit better, it was lighter, it was less expensive. It was $5 million less expensive. Any guesses on what they chose? The really nice, safe one or the less expensive one? Yeah, the less expensive one. And almost from the beginning when they finished it, it would start moving in the wind, and this was a windy area, all right? So, did their mistake come back to haunt them? It did, okay? That whole bridge, and look up the video sometime on YouTube if you get a chance, Tacoma Narrows Bridge, it started really moving. And it's crazy, it looks like a snake until it eventually just goes down. So you would think that they were done, right? The same engineers convinced people from the Washington state government, which is kind of crazy, to give them another chance. This time, they learned from their mistakes, all right? They didn't go the cheap route or the light route, or it still looks good, but not what looked the best. So they reinforced everything. They actually came up with some new suspension bridges that the techniques have been used throughout the country, and this is what the bridge looks like now. And they took them 10 years to get the new version, and since then it's stood for 70 years, I think now. Okay, and so very easy to have given up, especially the people that were in charge of them. If you're in charge of all that money, you might say, hey, these guys blew it, we're not doing that again. But they learned from their mistakes. They, instead of just panicking or giving up, what could we do better? And they took that second chance, that opportunity, and did the most with it. So the other little story is about a dude named Manny. And Manny, even though he put up flyers all over the school, Manny only received one donation. He had been wanting to do a fundraiser, right? Get some donations, and so he thought, put these little posters up there, I'm gonna make it look really good, and this cause that he believed in, I'm gonna make all this money, it's gonna be great, right? That was his initial plan. Well, he feels discouraged and ready to quit because people don't seem to care about his fundraising effort, and the posters are just not really being looked at or cared about. So you've been there before, okay? The first effort, try really hard on my math class this year and on that first test, but the first test doesn't go well, okay? Maybe someday you'll get into college and you're not so sure about it and the first class doesn't go well. Anything, okay? I don't know, asking somebody if they wanted to be your friend and they said no. Easy to give up, at least that feels like it's easy, but that's kind of the easy way out. Manny was a little bit more reflective than that. He wonders if he should redesign the flyers or even make them bigger. That seems like something that we'd all do. Hey, a better flyer. But I love where his brain gets to eventually. Then he looks around at his classmates. Nobody's really looking at posters, right? Everybody's on their phone. That's all they're doing. So his new plan, as he reflects, is that he's going to not make flyers, but create a website, get into some social media accounts, and make his presence known about his fundraiser. And not too surprisingly, things go a lot better after that, okay? Word spreads and Manny receives several donations. People even like and share photos of his project on social media, and it kind of blows up, maybe becomes viral. I think that's it on Manny. He had some options there, right? That initial attempt, if it doesn't go well, can be really scary. And when we say mistakes and failures, it's hard to not make it feel like that reflects on you, that you are a mistake or failure. But the people that I think are a little bit mistakes or failures are maybe the ones that never make that effort. Okay, I've known a lot of people who, I'd really like to do this, I'd really like to be in band, I'd really like to do this, but for whatever reason, someone's deemed it uncool, or in the end, they're maybe just a little scared. They never take that first leap of faith, all right? I don't know that they're failures, but I mean, you have to make mistakes. And then the other people are the ones that make the mistake and just give up or don't learn from it. So go back to maybe that thing that you thought about at the start of class where you tried something new and it didn't go well. So what could you learn from it? What have you learned? What could you do differently? Could you make that attempt again? If you could, even if you feel like that moment's gone, I'll never have a chance again. Maybe you asked a girl out for the first time. I don't know, okay? I don't know your life. Maybe you wrote a note and you folded it and you put a little heart in there or something. What could be different? Maybe you could just talk to her face to face, I don't know. But please don't give up, okay? Learn from that. With my own scenario, it was mostly just getting up earlier to get our 3 kids and my wife and I out the door. But we kind of played a little bit better as a team that second time. Okay, when we tried it just the next day to try to get to something a little early. And we also utilized our oldest daughter to help with the baby a little bit. So we learned, all right? I'm sure it won't be easy from here on out, but we're figuring it out. And our quote to end on, like we always have, I think Mrs. West has this one in her room. I'm still trying to find a way to put it huge in my office because it may be one of, if not the favorite quote for me. From somebody who knew a lot about adversity. I know I've shared this with you before. What a great attitude, okay? For sports, for life, anything. Someone who just takes the attitude, I never lose. And I'm a competitive person, and I felt like I've, taken losses hard before. But I love this. He's going to come back stronger every time. Because either I win or I'm going to learn from something and I'm going to come back at you that much harder. All right? So learn from your mistakes. Don't give up. Don't be afraid to get back at it again. And just remember that. Okay? No losing, just learning or winning. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.